I think that I, and I assume millions of others of my generation, wanted some of the things that we did for our children and our wives and ourselves was explained by the fact that we were products of what is called the Depression. Sadly to say, many young people today don't even know what that term means. It means that everybody was poor. Statistically, almost everybody was poor for about 10 years. Started with the stock market crash and got worse after that. And when you are really poor for a long time, you're a very different human being than when you're middle class or rich. At one point, thank God only one point, I ran away from home. I was 16 at the time, and I bummed around the country for a few weeks. And I literally faced severe hunger. I had $7. They lasted exactly 7 days. After that, no money. And pretty quickly, that converts into no food. If you knew where there was a soup kitchen, I guess you could go there, but I didn't know about that. I was on the road. I didn't know where I was, much less where other things were. I would beg. Very quickly, you turn into a beggar. You might think you would never do that, but you're wrong. All you have to do is get hungry enough and you beg your brains out. It's the conventional dialogue that you saw in movies. Hey, Mac, can you spare a dime? Or, you got a quarter you're not using, I could use it. And by and large, you get ignored or you get contempt. The only people who ever treated me, well, not the only people, but almost the only people who ever treated me kindly were the Mexican Americans I ran into in the southwestern states. So one guy, I remember, opened his own pockets, showed me they were empty. He shrugged. I liked that. We had a nice moment together because he was saying, I'm no better off than you are. Another man said, wait, senor, and he went into a little hovel, really, and came out with a tortilla full of beans. I loved him for that. And there was a nice attitude when I asked a Mexican if he had anything that I could eat or money to buy it with or whatever. My fellow Anglos, by and large, treated me coldly and rudely. I ate garbage at one point. You will do that, too, and you'll thank the universe for the garbage. Boy, what a thrill. Here, I found a can with some beans in it. I scooped out the ants and blew them away, and then I ate the 9 or 10 beans I found there. And boy, was I happy to find those beans. I was eating garbage and thrilled to do it. So that's very different from the life that we know. And since some of us had been through that, then we wanted to be sure that our children never went through that. So we tried to build up the little bank accounts and get a car for the wife and a car for us and wash the cars ourselves with the hose with the kids. There are many sweet, beautiful aspects of that. The best scene of all really is family life. Why our society insists on making heroes, men or women, out of people who can't stay married and have had 19 women. God, is that a stupid reversion of values? Having one wife, staying married to her, that's what we're supposed to do. It works out better with the kids. But the American home began to fall apart, I think, seriously, partly because of effects of World War II in the 1950s. That's when the divorce explosion, as it's called, began. As to what I wanted for my kids, there was, on one side, the economic security, that they would have enough clothes, enough food, a roof over their heads, and that, be able to go to school and have a bike and all those simple things. Unfortunately, while I succeeded in that regard for them, I would not rate myself terribly high as a father. My sons are kind enough to say complimentary things about me as a father, but I was very far from satisfied with myself as I look back at my role in that particular drama. I have been arguing ever since that our culture and society is very good at training people. We train them to pull teeth, to repair automobiles, to paint fences, to do brain surgery. We give them no training, literally, in the two most important roles they'll ever be called upon to play: marriage partner and parent. And that you just thrown into the water, hope you can swim. Oh, I'm sorry, you're getting divorced. Well, your children are sick. And it's happening now in probably half the cases of marriage in this country. It's an ongoing tragedy. I can see now that anybody, and certainly myself included, since I'm a body, needed training, just a book, anything, a magazine article, a priest talking to you on a park bench, something. We needed to be told how to be a father, for the men, and how to be a husband. Nobody ever explained anything to me. I hadn't seen any example in my own life. My father died when I was an infant, so there was no example. And I simply never learned it. So I was finally able to piece myself together and be a good father to my fourth son, but I don't think I was that great a father. I love my 3 sons, the first 3, dearly, still do. We get along great. But I thought all you had to do was love them, occasionally mention that fact to them, give them a hug once in a while after they, at least up to the age of 7 or 8. And that was basically all there was to it. And boy, was I wrong. You have to spend much time with them. You probably have noticed that either in the 60s or 1,000 years from now or last night, the sons of public figures, sons and daughters of public figures, have a decided disadvantage where those public figures are presidents or senators or movie actors or rock stars. And the reason is very simple. Daddy's on the road a lot. He's out campaigning for office. He's doing a concert in Nashville. And suddenly he looks over his shoulder and, oh, Junior's on dope. Well, maybe the fact that I didn't see him that much from 2 to 14 had something to do with that. You bet it did.